Wow. Okay, there we're unmuted. Audio. Wow. Okay, there we're unmuted. The microphone is not showing up. Why? No, it's not showing up here. Let me do this. Wow. Bear with me, everybody. Okay. Let's see if the super fancy microphone system works. Microphone is not showing up. Why? Because this is now my disconnect. I want to disconnect from this. I am now unmuted. All right, Tom Caldabiano here. Welcome, everybody. Tom Caldabiano, ELR 360 Live. The beginning struggles of trying to get everything going continues. Welcome to Sunday. See what happens. Do I want to explain what happens? I don't know. Let me just take a drink. What is this? This is a cool tea. By the way, where is that peppermint bark box? I still want to break that out again because that was a very funny discovery. Welcome all fans. Everybody Loves Raymond. Tom Caldabiano here, writer on Everybody Loves Raymond. Yes. Now going to turn that down. Yes, that down. We have to turn the AC on. So, welcome. We're going to talk about all things Everyone's Raymond. What happened is my system was muted. Then it connected to my phone. So then I was getting feedback. So then I had to go back through and restart something and then finally get it to go. Okay, yes. So here we go, doing this. And now I'm going to open this other screen. Yeah. All right, let's say hi to a couple of our friends here. The beauty of Everybody Loves Raymond, the beauty of visiting all you guys this week. Let me see what happens if I bring this here. Okay, yeah. Now I can see it on that main screen. Okay, awesome. So what did I post? Well, we have a few things to clean up. Let me see. Let me scroll down. So for everybody, the show is not on Peacock. I asked that question. So many people wrote in about the 20 different places where you can watch Everyone's Raymond. I have no control over it. Phil Rosenthal has no control over it. TV's Ray Romano, as I like to make fun, has no control over it. But there are many, many places. I don't know why. Like, I have to ask the powers that be. There's higher up. So what happens is they license the show. And so a show, Netflix, for example, goes, hey, we're going to pay X jillions of dollars for Seinfeld. And you have it for 5 years on Netflix. So on Everyone's Raymond, as you know, we're not on Netflix. But other, different broadcast people have different pay for different licensing agreements. So it's on IFC, it's on MeTV, it's on Paramount Plus, which is a CBS property. It is on what else? Amazon Prime. You can get it. So there's a lot of places. But I know if you're in the habit of turning on Peacock and you don't see Everyone's Raymond, you are annoyed. Appropriately so. So that is kind of what we have kind of found out. Hi there. Hi, Karen. Congratulations for those of you that watched the World Cup. Congratulations to England. Sorry for people the countries that did not advance. Quite a nail biter, England, and then Norway. Right, Norway lost. Is that correct? Yeah. And then who else? Then Argentina pulled it off. And you kind of want the underdogs to win, right? And again, rioting. Gil was telling me about rioting in the UK. We don't riot in the U.S. over that. Why? Because we stink at soccer. So there's zero expectations for the U.S. soccer team to succeed. So there's not like, oh my gosh, we're heartbroken. It's a terrible, thing. All right, let's say hello to our old friends. For those of you that don't know, I am Tom Caltabiano. I was a writer on There Was Raymond. I was an unofficial kind of photographer, and now I've become kind of an artificial archivist, I've been told, and historian. And what's interesting about that title is I had no intention of doing that, but by default, by saving all the scripts, all of these scripts, wouldn't you like to see the cover of this script that you are going to guess? I can show it to you. There you go. Okay. No way anybody could read that in a million years. Okay. Let's say hello to some of our friends here. Hi, Lynn Van Orden. Okay, let me go back to the cursor. I have 3 different monitors now because my main monitor has a cracked screen. Hello, Gil. Lynn Van Orden. Okay, these are old. These are old. These are old. These are old. I know these are old because people can't hear me. Thank you, Bob Silva. Good audio. What happened to the second Shamsky? Yeah, I think, hi, Paula. The Shamsky, everybody liked Shamsky, and I think Shamsky just went away. The story. So one of the things that you're not supposed to do in TV or movies is be upstaged by pets or animals, or children. Okay. Let's call it pets and children. Let's call it animals and children. One of those things. So eventually Shamsky, who was a great character because Robert was so sad sack and the dog came in to his life and brought him some happiness to his sad life. Eventually, there was kind of no reason for it, but it kind of, I think the original Shamsky did not do well in the health department, and eventually the second Shamsky also had a little bit of problems. Hi, Karen. Did you watch the World Cup game? I was in a Mexican restaurant and it was on a screen, but I was texting with some of my UK friends because I wanted them to win. And so, yes, I kind of watched it, and the screen was behind me, so I had to face people and turn around. You know how you can kind of get away with watching something and pretend to be interested in the person in front of you, but you're actually looking at the World Cup? I actually had to turn around to watch the screen. Hi, Karen Jack. Yes, we're going to talk about your delicious treat. Watching ELR. Gil, congratulations to Italian Jannik Sinner 2 for winning the men's Wimbledon final. Okay, yes, Gil, sorry. No one in the UK representing, right? So that's called, Gil, that's called being a magnanimous good sport. Kudos to you. I'd like to meet you someday. All right, I already have. Okay. Hello, all ELR fans. Hey, Tom, hope you're well. Been watching Wimbledon men's final today. It was fantastic. Yeah. I've been hearing, been hearing about the World Cup, but I don't really watch it. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, now let me go over to our neglected stepchild Instagram. Okay, click here. Do this. Still on free air TV in Australia. Hi, Lee Gerber, down under. I forget. It's Monday morning there for you, right? Okay. I kind of like that. Now, someone asked a question which I will remember to answer. But here, let's talk about what I just posted. Let's see this. I do have to show behind the scenes one day of my 3 screens and my microphone setup, etc. I think people would be interested. And of course, the big fork and spoon. There we go. Okay, so Taking a breath here, everybody. I posted a video rather, of somebody videotaping me taking a picture of Pat's Secret. Pat's Secret was in season 9. It was the second to last episode that aired. So this relates into one of the questions I was asked online. It was not the second to last episode that was filmed. That was Sister-in-Law with Amy pestering or allowing Raymond to enjoy her company. But Pat's Secret was shown the second to last episode. Now, as I've said in the past, I think, did Tucker wrote that? Tucker Cawley, I think, wrote that. That's one of the best episodes ever of Everybody Loves Raymond. And it was the second to last episode. So you're very sad to see the show go off the air. But what it was teeing up is the spinoff, which Phil Rosenthal pitched to CBS. And it was with Robert and Amy and Hank and Pat. And of course, I'm sure you would have seen Deborah and Ray occasionally, and perhaps even Marie and Frank. There was limited time there for Frank. But CBS was not interested. They were too old. Robert and Amy, they felt, were too old, and which is funny, right? For those of you watching, I'm sure a lot of you are well out of your 30s now. So I think they were in their early 40s, and CBS said no thanks. And at the time, you have to remember, I always say this, judge people in their time. At the time, multi-cam sitcoms, which is what Everett Raymond was, were not popular. Desperate Housewives was the most popular show in the U.S. And so it wasn't like CBS just wasn't chomping at the bit. And there were other things going on as well, but that is the short of it. So yes, it was pitched, and no, it did not happen. So the photo that and by the way, for those of you that someone said, I think I'm going crazy, I think I hear airplanes. Yes, we are very near, the big studio where I am in is near an airport. And I don't know if you've ever read about airplanes, but they're not that quiet. Okay, so let me see if can I show this video? I don't know, because I'm live. So can I show a video on my own channel? Yeah, so here, for those of you who did not catch it, here, I don't think is there, let me see, will it get sound? Yeah. Okay, so that's the video. I'm going to show it to you now. Okay, I'm going to let it play one more time. Okay, you can hear I got to hold it back here. This is for Instagram right there. Okay, that's right. I blow up nature. Boom! So if you watch that video, you can hear me clicking my shutter, which I had my camera around here. I think it's my blue strap camera somewhere. Not that important, but it's got the same lens, that same lens still. So I took that photo in 2004, and it's now what? 2026. So that's how long I've had the same lens, and I think I've had it cleaned a couple of times. But you hear me click. You hear it click. Now, these are the days of film. No, but iPhones didn't exist. So now, every event in everybody's life has 76 different copies and angles and coverage, and it's phenomenal. But back then it was film. Film, you only had 36 frames, 36 shots out of, and then you would have to reload the film. So you generally would limit yourself, even though I knew it was the end of Everett Raymond. It was a very special time, and I'm like, let me take a lot more photos than you might think. So here, I'm going to show you. First, here is a proof sheet. This is the roll of film that I had in that camera. Okay, so that's what's known as a proof sheet. I got to pull it back. I know I feel bad because Facebook suffers for me to get the frame right for Instagram. So there is Instagram frame, and sorry Instagram, but I'm going to push in. A lot, and there you can see there's all the photos that are on that one roll of 36. So now you remember, you heard him saying, boom, that's right, I blow things up, boom. So that is this moment. However, okay, I'm pulling out for Instagram. There's the Instagram frame. However, Sorry, Instagram. There we go. They do every scene twice. And on that proof sheet, that exact moment happens twice. So that's the first time that it happens. And this is the second time it happens, which I zoomed in already. So this is the second time it happens on the same roll of film. So for those of you who ask, how long does it take to do an episode? On that one roll of film, I was able to capture 2 different takes of the exact same moment, and the second one is the best. I don't know which take that was, but it is the best photo. It is at least the second take. So for those of you that are surprised that it takes so long to do a show, it's because every take, no matter what, you do 2. So that means you're 100% going to be there for an hour. And an hour, if you could snap your fingers and do a take, and then go to Frank and Marie's living room instantaneously. But all the cameras have to roll after you're done in Ray and Deborah's living room. All the cameras have to roll. And the first assistant director, Randy Suhr, would go, you'd hear, cut, okay, moving on, everybody. Moving on is magical words when you're working on a show, because that means you're going on to the next scene and your evening is, in a good way, moving forward. So that little sequence that I just told you of, that's kind of a little insight into one little portion of a scene that you guys should know pretty well, which is Pat's secret, when we hear so many different secrets. And of course, such an enjoyable episode to see. And these are all photos that I haven't scanned yet. I have to scan those photos. By the way, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to help out. Hold on. I'm going to do something. I have so many things that I misplaced. So let me see. That is the Nikon D850. And I don't know if you guys, those of you who have been following me, last year around this time, I placed my beloved brand new used D850 on top of a soft cooler. And when I woke up in the morning, the soft cooler was keeping my camera nice and cold. Very, very good, which is nice to hear. So here, this will allow, let me see. There we go, to the search. Okay, on to questions, back to questions. Whoa, what is that light? That's a crazy light that we got going here. All right, here. Hey, Tom, hope you're well. Been watching Wimbledon. Yes, okay. Craigie going on. Deb Tucker Frank, let's bring you up. Let's make that live. Okay. Patricia Heaton was on Facebook today mentioning how she auditioned for Seinfeld, got called back, and how it was, and told she wasn't right for the part. Julie Louis-Dreyfus did get it. Then she finally, let me see this. Oh, yeah. Okay, here. Then she finally auditioned for ELR as Deborah and got it. Yes. So that's not a crazy occurrence. Okay, here you go, folks. This, for photography buffs, this is the camera. This is the lens, not the camera. This is the lens that I'm holding in that photo. Interesting to photography buffs, boring to people who just like everybody loves Raymond. But here, do I even have a card in there? I don't know. I don't. Okay, so there you go. 70 to 200. I don't need one. 70 to 200. 70 to 200 lens for those of you that are following at home. 7200 2.8 for those of you following at home. Yes. So the weird thing, and I don't know if it's hard for the imagination. You go, how would Patricia Heaton have played Julie Louis-Dreyfus? So when we talked about this. Maggie Wheeler was up for the part of Deborah. Ray and Phil both loved her, still love her, and they wanted her for the part, but CBS said, well, let's keep looking. Maybe she's too ethnic or something. Okay. So once Patty plays a role of Deborah to perfection, you can't imagine anybody else being in that role. Same with Marie, same with Frank, same with Robert. These are Emmy-winning performances from every member of the cast. Peter Boyle won an Emmy for drama. A lot of people are like, why didn't he win an Emmy for the show? Well, he was up against David Hyde Pierce and Brad Garrett, and somebody has to lose. So the idea of somebody else playing a part is so incomprehensible. Like, I think, is it the 50th anniversary of Jaws? So the thought of anybody else but Roy Scheider, Richard Dreyfuss, and who played Quint? Robert Shaw played Quint. Could anybody else have played those roles? I don't think so. But what's interesting is when you go to Broadway and you see a play, the same play with different actors, then you kind of can get a feel like, oh, this is what it would be like with a different actor. But yeah, so I think the takeaway, Deb, Tucker, Frank, about Patty's story is, don't give up just because she's not right. And again, you guys probably know the story, but because I've told it, but Ray Romano was cast in a show called News Radio, and he got fired after one day. Okay, one day. What are you going to do? Poor TV's Ray Romano. Okay. Sorry. When I say okay, I just remembered. Here, we showed those Fred Willard photos from Pat's Secret. This is that exact scene, only during rehearsal. So a lot of times I post pictures for you guys, and it will be rehearsal. And a lot of people are like, hey, he was wearing a X, Y, or Z, like Frank sitting on Grandpa Steele's, sitting on the bench that breaks. They're like, he wasn't wearing that. I've never seen him in jeans, etc. So that's a lot of times you guys get a peek at rehearsal. Which reminds me also, another photo that I posted. I like this. I'm doing a little week in review of photos that I posted. Okay, let's turn that volume down because that's painfully loud. All right, let's look at this photo here. Look at this. This is like such incredible technology. All right, here is a great moment before a note session after a run-through. And I asked the question, who did you think wore casual best? Now, in back is Brad Garrett with the baseball hat on backwards, okay? Doris Roberts is sitting down, okay? And Doris Roberts looks like she's dressed as Marie, because that's Doris on a work day. That's just Doris in her casual clothes. At no point that day does she have to dress like Marie, but she does. But that's how, she did that. Now, Lou Schneider in back, who played, by the way, talk about trying to stay focused. The amount of notifications that come in on my phone is astounding. In very back, some people are like, hey, didn't that guy play Snaps? Yes. Did he play the cruise director? No. The cruise director was played by Hiram Caston. And I can see the mistake. Looks very similar. Ken, by the way, that is Ken Shapiro, who was probably directing that episode, but was also a technical, something called a technical director. Now, these two girls seem to be having the most fun on the set. A lot of people pointed out that Deborah, Patricia Heaton, in real life, has her feet on the couch. She's also, as somebody pointed out, not sitting very ladylike is the term I heard, and Marie would have something to say about that. But yes, they are having fun. And then Peter, this is how I remember Peter being dressed. Peter Boyle, Frank character, all the time. That Peter was always like a polo shirt or a t-shirt and jeans or khakis. That was Peter Boyle's thing. But this is a great moment. This you would see if you stayed on stage, which nobody really did. The writers weren't there, just the actors, Phil, and a few other essential people for those note sessions. There you go. Instagram, I'm doing a pan. I'm doing a pan for you there. Okay. So let me scroll back to this. These are all phenomenal. Okay. Now, the other question that I brought up is, here we go, Phil Rosenthal, a little bit heavier than you might see him from Somebody Feed Phil on the Netflix show. Actually, his book is, eventually I'm going to get his book, which is back on a chair, like way behind me, because I want to hold up Phil's book again, eventually in the next 40 minutes. So, the second Nemo. Okay. So Nemo was played by Joe Perry at the beginning of the series, okay? This is the second Nemo. That's Susan Varon, who went to college, who went to Hofstra with Phil Rosenthal, I believe. Oh, notification. Who knew? And then a young actress there who I don't know who she is, but She's in back, and she reminds a little bit, but not related to, of Tina Arning. But there is the second Nemo. So just so you know, in the writer's room, we never had a discussion about, hey, who are we going to get to play the second Nemo, because Joe Perry's health was failing. If you look up Joe Perry, you'll see that he was in an episode of Twilight Zone. Okay, so he was around for a long time. And he was great. He didn't have to play much. There was an episode, the Halloween episode, where he says, stop undressing me with your eyes. He was great, but we didn't write in the writer's room. We didn't sit there and go, okay, what's a good Nemo story? Because a lot of you are like, why didn't we see more of Chris Elliott or Alex, or Stefania or the Cookie Lady? You only have so many stories you can tell in a season. The longest season we had was 26 episodes. The last season was 16 episodes. So Joe Perry as Nemo, there just wasn't, a big storyline. Then, once Robert met Stefania and Marco, her father came over and wanted to buy the pizzeria, then you saw Nemo, because I have a feeling if we didn't hear that he go away, then we'd be discussing this and someone say, wait, which one, Nemo? Was there two Nemos? I don't know. As opposed to, for those that know TV history, there was a show called Bewitched. And on Bewitched, I think there was a big money negotiation, and the husband on Bewitched just changed. He didn't acknowledge it. It was just a different person playing the husband. And that's called the network playing hardball. When you go, let me tell you something. If I don't get the money that I'm asking for, I will threaten, and they go, you're fired. And so then it goes, oh, whoops. On Nemo, I think if it wasn't for David Preval doing a killer job and Stefania, played by Alex Meneses, nobody would really notice the ancillary Nemo's character going away. So there you go. And I don't remember. I remember Joe Perry being not well on set. Like we could tell, just like Peter Boyle towards the end, we would sit him down as much as possible. And when I look at the crazy, vibrant Peter Boyle at the beginning of the show, and then how he was at the end, we did see the Joe Perry kind of decline. Okay, what a great little. By the way, you guys are phenomenal. Does anybody know? You guys are phenomenal at your knowledge. Does anybody know where Nemo's Pizzeria exterior shot is in real life? Where was that restaurant in real life? That is a good trivia question for everybody. Okay, so here, I've never done this. Like scroll through my page and just talk about the story. I'm in a big studio, and somebody said, Tom, is that yours? And I said, oh my gosh, no. They're like, no, it's the guy who's the head of the studio, and he paid $800 for that painting. And I said, oh, have you ever seen a show called Everybody Loves Raymond? Yes. Have you ever seen She's the One? No. So I'm like, oh, I don't know if we should tell him that that episode exists. I posed that question. I still haven't discussed it with him. And I don't know. I should. I think I should. But it's from an artist, and she's very good, but apparently she makes some racy things also. So I didn't link her because I don't want people to be upset by some off-color type of things. All right. Now, the plan. Someone's like, hey, Tom, who did that happen to? So there was no screwing up of, and let's just address this point for a second. There was no screwing up of an invitation in somebody's life. But Ray Romano had a bit when he was doing stand-up in New York early on. He said, Ray can, I'll apologize to Ray because I will not get it exactly right. But he's like, you have to, when your wife sends you out, you have to really screw things up, she sent me out for broccoli and I came back with a hammer, so it's a very learned and deliberate incompetence that I think some men try to get away with, other people too. It's not just the male sex. So I'll have to find out, was that a Tucker Carlson story also? I don't remember. Somebody can look that up, but I think it might have been the plan. So that didn't. So when I say, for everybody who are like, somebody said this is a real life story, who did it happen to? There's also the launching point for the story. Humvac happened to Lou Schneider. He was supposed to get rid of a pesky salesperson, and instead he bought a vacuum. And so, did he have a mother-in-law like Marie? No, and that's why even for me, the Jazz Records episode really happened in real life to me. I didn't have a brother. I still don't have a brother. And Phil said, "Hey, what if Ray? What if this happens? What if we find out?" So when you launch a story, and again, I've said this many, many times, even the most famous celebrity has a pretty boring life most of the time. So to make a 22-minute episode fun and interesting, you have to create the story and hopefully get a lot of laughs. So. There you go. So that's wow. This is a great one. Now this was a good one that I posted and I have not discussed. I do not believe I said, and this is for all of you. This is a clue. When you see the curtain call, it's usually what the people are wearing in the last scene of the show. I don't have I held my phone up yet without a notification coming up at the same time? No. Okay. So there you go. For Instagram, I'm panning. We see Amy in the clothes she wore in the last scene. Brad Garrett has put on a shirt. Frank, Marie, they are wearing what they was in the last scene, but Ray and Deborah are in their pajamas. So that was a mystery. You're like, oh, why is that? That doesn't make sense because here is the last scene that everybody was in, and yet Ray and Deborah are not in pajamas at the dining room table, are they? Nope, they are not. So I went back to the original script, and here is the tag. Instagram, that's the tag right there. Ray and Deborah are in bed, and Ray is talking about reading, and Deborah holds his hand, and she wants to initiate sex, and he says, you thought I was reading. I tricked you. Now, I performed it and just relayed it terribly, but it was funnier than what I just said. But either because of time or Phil felt like, okay, we're way past this reading part because of the amazing scene that we had all together, that it was cut. And I don't know, Phil might remember that. He'll remember, but he might not remember why he cut it. So if it's for time, it might be really funny. And he might go, oh, I really hated to lose that tag. That got a crazy amount of laughs, but I had to lose it. Okay, here... let me check messages. Why? Okay. We don't want the great peppermint bark debacle to happen again. Not live. That would be terrible. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Hello, everybody. Wow. Holy moly, I've missed a lot of comments. See, so my whole talking there and ranting, I'm not looking at comments. I was not eating the delicious peppermint bark that was not peppermint bark, but okay, let's see this. Love Maggie Wheeler and both Friends and ELR. Yes, she's phenomenal. That looks a lot like the camera my dad used to have. Hi, Anita. It could be. Did the live audience both takes? Lynn Van Orden, maybe you're challenging my ability to read. You left out a couple of keywords. Did the live audience see both takes, like both takes, hear both takes? I'm guessing somewhere in there. I know when I send a text and someone writes, what does that mean? Can you milk? I think that means, can you get milk? And when someone's like, I don't know, what did you mean by that? Can you milk? Well, can you get milk is what I meant. So put it together. So Lynn Van Orden, maybe. I apologize. So the audience was there for every take. The only time we did something called pickups after the audience left, the first season, we had a priest in an episode, and that priest could not get the lines. And so we had to get it, and I think Phil had to step in and kind of get him. He literally got like one word at a time. It was painful to watch, but you have to have some leniency to older actors. Favorite quotes mug in yellow, and I'm drinking a Fruity Tooty Starbucks espresso with some kind of cream. Hold on, let me get back to focus. See if my eyes are in. This camera is really good. I can't have my eyes in it. It's a Starbucks quadruple espresso with almond and then some type of something else on it. I can't remember. Cold foam. There's a cold foam. It's cold. It's a cold drink here because it's hot. All right. I have to look with this magnifying. Wait. I wonder if I could increase the size. Okay. Hi, Tom, Annabelle, the Karens, Donna, Kim, Gil, everybody. Hi, Kristen Curran on Instagram. Sorry, I'm looking at a screen over here. That's why you're seeing me in profile. Hello from Massachusetts. Wow, let me catch up. Whoa, I'm way behind. So it's interesting. In June, I randomly stumbled on clips from the show on YouTube. I hadn't seen it since I was 28. So I immediately immersed myself in the ELO world. I found my page. Awesome. That's my jam, Tom. Espresso. Yeah, but this is a fruity tooty. I mean, it's not fruity tooty. That's not accurate in any way. There's no fruit. There's no toot. It's just espresso with chocolate, not chocolate, with almond, hazelnut, and like some type of other thing. The Frog Woman of Massapequa, yes. Okay, let's do this. Let's go this. Darren. When I was little, I liked the second Darren, but then looking back on it, the first Darren was so much funnier than with that rubber face of his. Yeah, I think the first Darren was better, Kristen. I think so. Let me see this. Okay, scroll. Sorry, this is me just catching up. That are some things that you guys have already read. Okay, let's see this. Wow, there's a lot of conversing going on here that I'm missing. I was watching the Reds versus the Mets game today. Okay. As a Mets fan, it was... Sorry, Mets is baseball for those of you. Sorry, I'm off the Raymond beaten path, but we did have the 1969 Mets on. Okay, so if you are a Mets fan, you're always tortured. Your heart is beaten and bruised. It was 2-0. Now, folks, for those of you that are watching the World Cup, we as Americans, I'm going to speak for all Americans. I think they would want me to. When we watch soccer, we're like the game. So it's the best team. Spain is favored, and they win by 1 point. And this team is favored, and they win by 1 point or one penalty kick. So in American football, there's crazy high scores. There can be. And so very seldom do you have teams that are that closely matched. So in soccer, I guess every once in a while you see a 4-0 game, but the for an American, we want more scoring. And so in baseball, for the Mets, I think it was 2-0 Mets. And then I go, oh, 2-0 Mets today in the game against the Red Sox. They will win. And then the last time I saw, it was 2-2 Red Sox tied it up in the 8th or 9th. So I don't know what happened, but that was my... You want to breathe easy when you're a fan of a team. And so the Mets the other day scored 12 runs. And I'm like, 12 runs. Well, that's good because they're going to win. And they lost 16-12. So there you go. A little bit of inside thing about baseball and being a tortured Mets fan. Okay, let's scroll back to questions here. Hello, everybody. Did your dad... Hi, Karen Kraft. Let me bring Karen Kraft up. She goes right to the front. Did your dad torment you your entire life for destroying the jazz records? Or was that part made up, too, for comic value? No. Karen, I'm glad you bring up this terrible portion of my life. My father... So the way I came up with that episode was... During Raymond, so I'm already way out of my teens, out of my 20s at that point, my father, I paid for a trip to go to New Orleans, and it made me very happy with my father and my uncle. My father loved jazz more than anything. He was a volunteer at a jazz radio station called WBGO in Newark for 30 years. So I grew up being exposed to a lot of jazz. And for those of you that follow jazz, I saw and hung out and talked to a lot of jazz artists without realizing who they were, but the Modern Jazz Quartet and Dizzy Gillespie, like these are people that I would encounter through my father. So he loved jazz more than anything, more than his kids, more than anything else. So I paid for this trip to go to New Orleans because, do we have a Raymond photo book here? I don't think so. Maybe there is one. It's not urgent, but the Everose Raymond photo book came about because I had watched a documentary on PBS by a guy named Herman Leonard. And Herman Leonard had an amazing story if you guys look him up. And I go, oh my gosh, this is an unbelievable story of this photographer who went through all these things in life that were trials and tribulations, but he developed a beautiful style of taking photos. And he took photos of people like Frank Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday, etc., giants of jazz. And then I was telling I'm going to shorten this story a little bit from what it really was, from the whole length, or I could tell the whole story, but I don't know. So here, this book, Everybody Loves Raymond, Our Family Album. That's my photo that I took with a medium format camera. Thank you, Raymond, for making a funny face when we were taking that photo. There you go, Instagram. I think I only took 12 photos because it was medium format. Etc. So this, for those of you that haven't bought it or haven't seen it, I make zero money if you buy it now. Zero. And I made almost zero when I made the book as well. There's my photos, and then Ray and Phil wrote descriptions. That's a whole nother story. But the story, and here's the photo I just showed you, right? That's the back cover of the book. Did you guys know that? So there is Misery Loves Company, the back cover of the book, and we had to blur some of the audience members out. I don't know why, because they all had to sign releases to be able to be in the public eye. Okay. So, to make this really, really short story, how did the jazz records come up? Hold on, let me see. Okay. That's me reading something and being like, let me digest that. And I could in silence, but I think it's better if I make weird noises with my mouth. People respect that. So, I see this amazing documentary. I'm sharing about this documentary to my uncle because my father happens to be in the hospital at the time getting a bypass. And I said, I saw this amazing documentary, Uncle Joe, about Herman Leonard. And he goes, oh, Herm? Yeah. Herm. And I'm like, what do you mean, yeah, Herm? By the way, the documentary on PBS, narrated by Tony Bennett. It features, Marlon Brando. Like, it's a crazy documentary. It's not like, hey, I saw a public access thing with a guy with a camera. So I go, what do you mean you know him? Well, I went to college. We went to Ohio University. Ohio University is not Ohio State University. It's a small university. And Herman Leonard would set up these crazy experiments with flashes. And so my uncle was an electrical engineer, and he would help him. And one of the things that he did is he had some of the flashes fail, and so he would do these dramatic photos. If you look up, here, this is live. Here we go. Siri, show me images of Dexter Gordon photos by Herman Leonard in the Roost. Okay, so that's a good memory, Tom. Here we go. Okay, so that photo is Dexter Gordon, who's a sax player, and that illumination of the smoke is Herman Leonard's style, okay? So if you look up Herman Leonard, you'll see that. Okay, so now I'm blown away by this. I go, when's the last time you saw him? Can we go visit him? Yes, he lives in New Orleans. Okay, I'm going to pay for a trip. We're all going to go, me, you, and my father. Okay, great. I asked my father. He says, nah, I don't want to go. It's very humid there. It's very hot there. I'd rather not go. I go, okay, fair enough. So we're not going to go. He's not going to go with me and my uncle. And then I asked my father like 4 months later or something, and he goes, yeah, okay, I'll go. So I go, okay, great. We'll all go. We go there. We meet Herman Leonard. We go to a Emerald restaurant. It's an amazing time. Herman Leonard's telling phenomenal stories, unbelievable stories. And he's talking about, just being with Dizzy Gillespie and Charlie Parker. And then they're at a club on 52nd Street, and it's coming up to daylight. Let's go to New Jersey and let's play some more. And they play till 3 o'clock the next afternoon. So he's telling story after story after story after story of amazing stories, and he has a yearbook from the university, and they're like, here's this woman that we dated, and here's this, and etc. So we come back from we need to go back to our hotel, and Herman goes, I will be your cab driver. I will drive you back to your hotel. Okay, great. Thank you, world famous photographer, for giving us a ride. On the ride back, my father asks Herman Leonard, who was best friends with Dizzy Gillespie and Charlie Parker, hey, Herman, do you have any jazz radio stations here? And he goes, Herman says, well, not that many. We have a few. And he goes, yeah, you know what ruined jazz? Bebop. And Bebop, for those who don't know, was started by Dizzy Gillespie and Charlie Parker. So he's basically, my father's saying, here's what killed jazz. Your friends killed jazz. And I'm looking at my father like, why would you bring that up? Why would you express that opinion to somebody who you know is best friends? And we know he's friends with him because when Clint Eastwood did a movie about Charlie Parker, I'm trying to remember, we said, did Clint Eastwood ask you, Herman Leonard, to talk since you really knew him well? Nope. I didn't hear from him. Okay, great. But he is your close friend, right? So my father says, your friends killed jazz. You know that, right? And so then we're driving some more, and my father won't let it go. And finally, Herman goes, I don't know if they killed jazz. They certainly expanded it. And my father said, well, the audience couldn't relate to it. And then Herman Leonard finally says, well, expletive the audience. They couldn't relate to Stravinsky either. I know I'm getting very inside baseball, but that's the exchange we had. So then we get out of the car, and I'm like, wow, that was kind of embarrassing. But Herman Leonard, he could have been a politician. And so we get out, and we're saying goodbye. And Herman says, this is a compliment to me, but he goes, Tony, you have a hell of a son there. And my father says, yes, it's too bad he ruined all my jazz records when he was a kid. And so I tell that story. So one of the things about the writer's room is you go in and tell people how bad your life is. And then the other writers go, oh, that's great. Your life is terrible. And now we will make a funny episode. So I tell that to Phil, and he just goes, put it on the board, jazz records. And so I go, okay. And again, I know in hindsight, you think like, Tom, you must have been like, I'm going to run in there. But just like when Phil had the toaster incident happen with his parents, he didn't see it. He's like, how can this be an episode? They're just so annoying. They returned the toaster. They didn't even look at it. They don't care about me. So that's how that episode, the jazz records, kind of came about. So it was during Raymond. So yes, comedic value. Phil added the part about the brother. Like I said, I don't have a brother. And so I wasn't thinking, oh, I could have because, it was that addition of that added story element. But the spelling bee, I was in a spelling bee, the word vacuum. I didn't get vacuum. We show Ray with a dictionary that he loves, and his kids give him an electronic one, which he hates. And so now he can relate, etc. So there you go. Wasn't expecting to tell that story, but it's pretty good story. Okay. Let me catch up now because we don't want another peppermint bark incident, do we? Okay. So let's see this. Let me scroll. Let me look at Instagram. The neglected stepchild. Okay. Yes. Thank you for sharing about the jazz record. I really appreciate it. Oh, that was nice. Your friends kill jazz. Yes. Yes, that's effectively what he said. You're always a little. Tom, do you have a favorite episode you wrote? And one that is your least favorite? Oh, least favorite. Let me see if I can answer that. Doris's holiday parties. Yes. Okay, I'm scrolling there. Yes. So Doris parties. I'm just trying to think of where I want to go next in the stories. I want to answer everybody's questions, and I will not see. What would you guys think if I did like 7 hours live and I just stayed here and you guys come and go, you use the bathroom, you have dinner, you go out to dinner, you see friends, you come back and you're like, oh, Tom's still on. Let me see if he got around to my question. Yeah, I don't want to go too long today, even though you guys have such great questions. So, Doris's Christmas parties, we are how many days from Christmas? We're a few days away from Christmas, and I like to share around Christmas time. But Doris's Christmas parties were something that, for those of you that don't know, Doris had a party every single Christmas, starting, I want to say, season 3 or 4. Once we knew the show was going to be a big hit, she would invite the actors, writers, a couple of other people would go there. We would go to her house in the Hollywood Hills on Quebec Drive. That house was sold, and it would be a catered meal. First, we'd start in her downstairs bar. Doris liked to drink. Downstairs bar filled eventually with Emmys, but tons of memorabilia. Then we would go eat after that, and then we would have something called a greed party, which you guys have called a white Christmas sale, all kinds of different names. But it's basically you steal people's gifts, as they get exchanged, and the gifts could not be more than $40. And that was fun because it was a group of people called comedy writers who were used to sitting in the room together trying to be the funniest people in America and outdoing each other. So as you can imagine, it was a very, very, very funny time. And especially then, once the show's a big hit, the pressure's off. When you're on a sinking ship, the pressure's on. People don't want to hang out. There's blaming, etc. We were the opposite, etc. So I think I'll get into that again more Christmas time. I'll have to post a picture of here. Let me see what happens if I think I'm buying an app. How am I buying an app? That's a bad sign. Okay, let me see this. Let me look at this. Yeah, by the way, I'm going back to the questions. There was a question about the twins. Why were the twins replaced? Because they were absolutely triplets and they were a little bit old once the show started, and they decided, there's twins that Madeline Sweeten has as brothers. Let's use them. So that's what happened. And people are like, it's so phony because Ray has black hair and Deborah has black hair and their daughter's blonde hair. Same for Ray in real life. His daughter Allie has blonde hair. Okay. Catching up here. Let me see. I wondered what really happened with the jazz record. It's a great episode. Does that help? Yes. It would be school year fun to watch and listen to you for a whole day. Yes, that would be fun. It would be fun to do. I have this light. I have all these reading apparatus. Okay, let me catch up on this before, and again, for those of you that missed it, this is not peppermint bark. I'm holding up the box that's peppermint bark, and Karen Jack made this for me. It's called, let me see. Boy, I hope someone didn't replace this with Oreo cookies or something. So it is one of the greatest things I've ever tasted. This is not what I'm tasting today. I'm tasting something new in the canister. Okay, this is, somebody has stolen some because I inventoried this and I see that somebody stole some, but we'll deal with that later. Here you go. It is, Karen, you have to share the recipe because it is one of the greatest things I've ever eaten. And the biggest problem with it is not eating all of it. So what you guys missed last week, if you weren't watching, is I had spoken with Karen about it, got a letter with Karen about it, explaining what it was, and then I ignored all of that and just saw this. So I would say in the future, put a piece of tape over it that says, just to be clear, for less intelligent people, this is not what is in the box. So there we go. Oh, that sounds like a jet landing. Okay, I shouldn't have opened that because now I do need a shower because this is chocolate like you can't imagine everywhere. All right, let me do a couple of final things and then show a script. See if you guys can guess the script. I'm going to taste a snack and then we will continue going on. By the way, I'm posting those reels of me talking about those photos. Are you guys enjoying those? Give me a thumbs up if you are. And then, of course, the old footage. I still have barely scraped the surface because they're all in plastic boxes that are, I think I have one on the shelf over there. I think there's a plastic box with tapes on the shelf to the right. Is that possible? Let me see. I'll show you guys what I have. This is like 1/1,000,000th of the amount of stuff that I have. Let me just see this. So here's a small box, okay? Hopefully it's protected from water, not fire. And as you know, we had the giant fires out here. And so so many people lost so much stuff. So here it's just all these things. Tom, July 1996 Christmas, but that would be, so it's so many tapes. I think we counted, and is it 500 tapes maybe, which are 2 hours each, a lot of them. So these all have to be digitized. The photos I share, the videos I share for you guys are sometimes like 18 seconds long, and that's very short. That's going to take me 100 years to share them all, but I do want to digitize them and let you see them. Okay, let me catch up on comments here, looking at the screen. Let me see. Something happened. Yes, Kristen, you have to tell me when you're going to send that cake again. Yes, people ate that cake. They're animals. They're disrespectful, and they love chocolate. It's a terrible combination. When I won second place in a spelling bee, I misspelled the word pavement. Interesting. Lynn Van Orden, love the reels with you in them in my studio. Yes. Okay. Yes, you're enjoying them. Okay. Okay. Ooh, this is a long one. Okay. Carol, yes. Okay. So I'm going to cut. I'm not going to read the whole thing. One of the twins played in episode. One of the twins played a young Allie in an episode. So just so you know, one of Allie's brothers, one of Madeline Sweeten's brothers, Sawyer Sullivan Sweeten, played they put the, I think, pigtails, or those are what they're called, etc. So yes, that is the thing. Yeah, Karen, next time you give with such generosity, make sure you cross out Peppermint Bark. We don't want that to get the spillover thing. I thought you were going to taste it again, and that it was not peppermint bark. It might taste the same. That's funny, Annabelle. Very good. Technically, okay, Karen, now you're posturing. Let's read this. Technically, I deserve a higher score on the brittle, Tom, because you graded it before learning what it actually was, which means that you could have deducted points for the fact that it contained no peppermint whatsoever. Maybe my score would have been higher if you had realized what it was supposed to be. Karen, didn't you get one of the highest scores ever? Now, this feels like a lawyer wrote this. This is a very good argument. Let me see. Bob, you misspelled aardvark. I heard Doris liked champagne. Good taste. Yes, I think Phil Rosenthal, maybe he can remember it. He was at a ceremony with some champagne thing with horns and stuff, and you pop the top of the champagne with a sword, and I think Doris was there, etc. Okay, let's see if we can guess. So for those who don't know, Tom Caltabiano here. I rescued a bunch of scripts that look like this from the wardrobe department dumpster, thrown in the garbage, never to be seen here. That is genuine American paper right there, folks. That is TV history that I'm flipping through. Okay, now, when is this from? Okay. No recollection personally of this episode. Let's see if you guys can guess it. Let's see. The wardrobe department takes pictures on Polaroid for continuity. And here is the least helpful Ray Romano picture. Ray Romano as Ray Barone. Might be Philip in the background. I can't tell. There. Okay. Why am I not giving more screen time? Ray wears the same thing in every episode, so it's going to be so hard to guess with that. Okay. Here we go. Let's see. What is he wearing? Oh, a shirt that's open with a T-shirt underneath it. Okay. That's Elizabeth Herring going over lines with Raymond. Can't tell. Let me see who's in the background. Okay. That's a clue. I'm not going to say who's in the background. That's a big clue right there. Get your guesses ready, folks. Ray Romano in a T-shirt. Okay. Ray Romano in a shirt that is open with a T-shirt underneath it with pants. Okay. So we're racing through. Let me scroll down. Let me see if any of you have this. Ooh, Thomas Gerard. Thomas Gerard. Oh, interesting. I'm not going to say your answer, Thomas Gerard, because that's very early on. Okay, here we go. Patricia Heaton, you know it's early. You know it's early in the season because Patty looks early in the season, in the series rather, and in that season. All right, so you'll guess it now. Sorry, everybody. You will guess it now. I will read. Don't worry, I'll read in the order. There's Patty. Yes, in that setting. So once we're there, folks, that's a nice outfit. I don't think I've ever seen her wear that before. Yeah, okay. Deborah. I don't remember seeing her in that outfit. And those are pajamas, right? Do we add, are those pajamas or are those clothes? She's in the bedroom. I'm guessing they're pajamas, yeah. And then those are, look, those are quite the plaid. Okay, let me run through a few more. Peter, plaid. By the way, is plaid big? Is plaid big everywhere in the world? I feel like it's a very, I know Scotland it's big. Okay, Robert. I'm scrolling right through, folks, because somebody guessed it instantly. So this is also, this was, sorry, I know that I'm not sharing, but this would also be a clue when you see this. And you see this. And you see, let me rotate that, this. Okay, and let me get one Robert, one Brad Garrett shot in there. Peter Boyle, and might as well. Yes, Marie, looking very Marie. And if I know correctly, don't forget, folks, I'm doing this backwards in an image. Marie's. Now, there she has that white makeup that people have complained, that kabuki-looking white makeup. I don't know if it's that evident in season 2, but there are her earrings. And there's Doris again. And now we want a Brad Garrett. Here is Brad Garrett. There we go, in his uniform, in his leisure wear. Okay, yes. So the episode is Father Knows Least. There you go, Instagram, Father Knows Least. And I believe, who was the first to guess it? So now I have to scroll up. I think, I don't want to miss, I think Kathy Pine had it first, right? I hope you're feeling better, Kathy Pine. You've shared some of your health woes. And you know what would make you feel better? 7 hours of listening to me. Actually, that I don't think that would help anybody. Okay, let me just keep going. Yes. So sorry, Thomas Gerard. I was so excited because I thought you got it. But I think, now don't forget, you're in the UK. So the electrons have to travel all the way across the ocean. Or what do they call it? It is an ocean, right, technically? Okay, Karen Kraft, you did get Karen Jack, you did get a, Karen Giacalone, you did get a high score, but you're an overachiever. Interesting. So Thomas Gerard, see, the times are the same. They don't break down the seconds. Technically, Kathy Pine came in first, Thomas Gerard came in first, but the time is my time, 3:09. Michael stays home from school, Allie's F. Okay, people are trying to guess. Donnell, of course. Donnell, you could do this in your sleep. PTA episode. Interesting. Early, not a bad guess. All of these are not bad guess. Okay, let me try. Fooled by the amazing guess. Foiled by the amazing Kathy Pine once again. Great job, Kathy. Yes, very good. Now, for those of you, okay, Karen, can you get credit if you didn't guess? If you're like, I knew it, but I didn't guess. Okay, so let me lean back here to the canister. And while I'm doing this, I wonder if Phil's book can be grabbed. That's on the back chair right here behind me. There we go. Okay, here you go, folks. So this is the canister. I did not nab it after the show. I was given it by, Rhonda Robinson gave it to me. She sent it when Phil and I were doing our watch party. By the way, we're looking into figuring out how to make something for you guys to buy that is the canister. Of course, if we made this, it would be $280 per unit or something like that. But the fork and spoon, here, I'm going to show you the fork and spoon for those that don't know. And by the way, thanks everybody for ordering all these. If you haven't, how many things can something be caught on? So this took us 2 years to make. You're like, 2 years, Tom? Please, really? Aren't they going to the moon soon? Yes, but this is genuine wood. This fork and spoon, the actual wallpaper, etc. And when you move the fork and spoon, which are magnetically linked, you see the original grease stains from Marie's kitchen. Let's get my face out of there. There you go. So we're trying to figure out how do we make something for you guys. You can't make a full-size canister. I don't know if people would want it. It would be too cost prohibitive. But anyway, years ago we had a chocolate a contest between Oreos and Hydrox, according to Jeremy Stevens. He said Hydrox are better. And so Phil said, well, the only way to settle this is with a cookie taste. And so I'm carrying on that tradition. Here, let me just put that back into its place. Custom made, by the way. You cannot find that on eBay. Rhonda sourced it. Okay, what am I trying now? This. This looks delicious, but I'm suspicious. Why? What is that writing? So it's an Asian writing. Don't ask me how I'm that good, but puff paste. This looks pretty good. Let's see. Perhaps there's peppermint bark in here. Let me see this. Okay, I'm going to open this up. Do this quickly. Oh, they're individual. Look at that. So it's not what I was expecting. They're all individually wrapped. I just dropped 3 of them. Okay, puff pastry. Folks, do we think this is going to be good or not? I should put these. Oh, it looks very good. Hold on. Speaking too quickly. Got to cover my eyes. There we go. Puff pastry. It's melting as I speak under the hot lights. Okay, hold on. Well. I have to get rid of my face, move it over for Instagram. There we go. So, oh, my face again. My face is hurting things. There we go. Okay, there's perfect for Instagram. It's how would you describe this? It's very Asian tasting, so it's not really chocolatey. I mean, there is chocolate, but it's not nearly as chocolatey. I'm gonna toss this over here. I'm gonna toss this directly in front of me. There you go. So let me see. Oh. Very light, not sweet, not. So it's refreshing, but if you're coming off of a Karen Jack cashew, flavor blast, it's not fair. So I'm going to give this a 7.2. 7.2. This rating. The puff pastry, the photograph is delicious. Okay, what country is this from? Can anybody tell me? I do not know. Here you go. I'm going to help you out. For our viewers. That's all right, if you can figure it out. Maybe it's Asia somewhere. Some Asian place. And that's what it looks like. So it's refresh. It feels like this is healthy. This feels like when you're a kid and somebody gives you something that you're like, this is going to be delicious. Maybe a disappointing thing on Halloween. That's, again, it's really, it feels like you should have this with tea, but that would be more British. Anyway, super tasty still. All right, let's go. Where is that cashew? Okay, let me just see this for me. Everybody, I'm about to not eat peppermint bark. Okay, oh my gosh. I have to put up security cameras because of this now. And it's sad that I'm finding this side of humanity because of cashew. Okay, sorry. I'm now going to eat this. Karen, we have to share this recipe. Oh my goodness. That's otherworldly good. Okay, final questions. Instagram, looking at you guys. Scrolling down. Okay, sorry for the chewing, everybody. That's kind of off-putting. Okay. I have to take a picture of this setup because this is anybody who's a OCD would right now pass out. Okay. Donna Pendleton, Taipei, Taiwan. Thank you. Annabelle says, the recipe will not help me, send me some. Now, Annabelle, that seems selfish, right? I have to find the peppermint bark in tin. I both love and hate it. I love it because of everything. I hate it because it has a dog barking on it, which is why it's called bark. It's because it looks like jagged pieces of tree bark, and also chocolate is poison for dogs. That's a lot going on there, Donnell. Yes. Let me see. Congratulations. Let me see this. The night of the peppermint bark caper. Yes. Wouldn't that be a plot twist if those puff pastries had peppermint bark in them? Yes. Dark chocolate, much healthier for you. Yes, Deb Tucker Frank, you're actually. Hi, Anita John. Do you like peppermint bark, Tom? I've never tasted it. Because had I known what it was, I would have been like, hey, wait a minute, Karen Jack, this is not peppermint bark. And she would have been like, yeah, I told you 3 times that it's not peppermint bark, Tom. So clearly I've never had it. I will totally try it. Okay. Thomas Gerard. Per AI, May Puffs are currently crunchy, bite-sized Taiwanese cookie. They have a flaky, airy crust. Yeah, they're very airy and smooth cream filling. I didn't get that. I'll have to eat another one. The most popular flavors are chocolate, milk, and strawberry. It's just an interesting, Karen Jack, which one over Hydrox and Oreo? Oreo's one, but he said they weren't the same. Jeremy Stevens said they weren't the same as when he was growing up back in the 1800s. Okay. What am I reading? Congratulations, yes. Matthew Proctor, I'm becoming a dad in the next hour. Congratulations. I'm guessing there's nothing on, Matthew, where you are in the hospital. Is it a blackout or something that you're forced to watch me talking about eating treats that Karen Jack made? Let's see. Thomas Gerard, yeah. Who is Thomas? Sorry, I keep making that mistake. You are in Orange County, so yeah, your electrodes are very close to me. Okay, look at this piece, Annabelle. Eat your heart out. I got to get rid of my eyes. If my eyes aren't in, there we go. I have to close my eyes and hope. There you go. Please, Karen, share that recipe. We'll make it. Now, and of course, now that you're healed, you could make it for everybody who's watching. All right, folks. Thank you very much, everybody. Love the questions. Love everybody chiming in when people have questions and answering it. Again, I've shared that with you. I love when you guys come to the rescue and someone's like, hey, do you know of this? Please feel free to jump in. Those of you who have been watching me since the beginning know more about Ever Rose Raymond than almost anybody else possibly would. I can't hold that napkin. Oh, yeah, Phil's book. Thank you. Don't forget, the braciole recipe is in Phil Rosenthal's books. Phil's favorites. His second book is the tested recipe of the braciole. We'll do more. We'll make it someday on camera. All right. Have a good week, everybody. I will talk to you next Sunday.